First, let me say thank you to the Guilford County Republican Party, Marcus. I was struck sitting up here as one of 7 men. I have a newfound appreciation for Elizabeth Taylor's 7th husband and the dilemma that he faced on their wedding night. He knew what he was supposed to do, but how on earth did he make it interesting? Folks, I've told you a couple times tonight, we've got a leadership problem in Washington, D.C., and I place most of the blame with our own party. So the question that I'd ask you to consider tonight is, who do you want to send up there to represent you that will stand strong and lead on a principled basis? My leadership skills were developed and honed at the Naval Academy and as a naval officer. I've been a business leader for 30 years. I take offense at the characterization of Congress as being spending money like drunken sailors. It's not fair to drunken sailors to say that. Drunken sailors spend their own money, and when they run out, they go home for the night. I would suggest Congress might adopt that philosophy. But folks, we've got some serious problems up there, but they're not insurmountable. Less government, less taxes, secure borders immediately. A nation without borders ceases to have sovereignty, and that's what we're beginning to see. Our financial security is at risk because of our heavy taxation and our debt burden. There's plenty to do up there, and folks, if you send me up there, I will represent you well, I will serve you, which is what I want to do, but I'm not going up there to get along with anybody. If you want somebody to go represent you like a Ted Cruz or Mike Lee or Rand Paul, then I'm the person you want to send up there. And I will have you note that I'm sitting the furthest to the right as you look at the stage.
A homeowner is asleep at night with his wife in the bed, and he's awakened by an alarm at his business next door to the home. He grabs a shotgun and he walks out to the patio. And as he walks out to the patio, he sees 2 burglars, 2 thieves, stealing copper wire from his business. They're rolling copper spindle across his backyard. He says, "Stop, I've got a gun." One of the burglars runs the other way. The other one charges at him. The homeowner has to make a decision in a split instant whether or not to fire or not. The homeowner fires and kills the thief. That file was put on my desk like many other files as district attorney, and I had to make a tough decision to determine whether or not that homeowner acted justifiably when he killed the intruder. Those are the types of decisions I've made every day as district attorney. And those are the types of decisions I'll make on behalf of the 6th District, because I have a proven track record of making hard decisions, and I'm the one who has to stand up for those decisions. I'm a lifetime member in the NRA, and I look at those cases as I look at other cases through that lens. What would a homeowner do in a similar situation? Now, why is that important? That's important because being a homeowner, being a gun owner, defines us. It's who we are. And when I go to Washington, I'll remember that. I'm pro-life, 100% pro-life. I was also the spokesperson for the Marriage Amendment. I gathered prosecutors and law enforcement from across the state together to speak up and protect marriage. And that's important because if you're not right on guns, you won't be right on the debt limit. If you're not right on life, you won't be right on spending. And if you're not right on marriage, you're not right for this district. Thank you.
Thank you all again for taking time out of your Friday evening to come spend with us. Thank you for the folks that worked hard to put this event on. I'd like to thank my wife because she's at home waiting on me to come home finally to our family. And I'll tell you, I thank her. So some of you that know her, she cooks a mean lentil and sausage soup, and I get to have it tonight. But she is really the backbone of our campaign. We've had a family campaign. This was a family journey. We hope that you'll join our journey. Hopefully, we got you a little bit inspired about what we're doing. I want you to support our campaign because of our proven conservative track record, of the fact that we rolled up our sleeves, of the fact that I've helped decrease taxes, that I am the only candidate that has actually voted to support your Second Amendment rights, that I have rolled up my sleeves and actually done the work that it takes and what we need in Washington. The other things that I would say too is you got to maintain accessibility. It's easy to say, I can promise this and I'll pledge that and I'll pledge that, especially when it's not to the people in the 6th District. But you got to maintain accessibility. And I promise to do that. That's what I want to do. I want to continue what Howard Coble has done in the 6th District. He's been accessible to me and to you. And we need to make sure that that is maintained right here in the 6th District. So I commit to you this. I'll do what I've done in Greensboro, and we'll do it in Washington. We'll fight hard. We'll roll up our sleeves. I'll fight for my family just like I'll fight for yours. Thank you so much for coming tonight, and we do hope we can garner your support.
We have lots of problems in this country. We have too much government. Our taxes are too high. Our spending is out of control. It's become fashionable to try to rig the system and not work. We can fix all of this, but I think, our biggest problem is broken politics. Broken politics, I think all of you know what that is if you've watched TV. It's the finger pointing, the accusation, the lack of sincerity that we see in our government. It's when President Obama accuses our party of not negotiating and then in the same breath doesn't negotiate with us. It's when our government wants to take over health care and then they can't even launch a website. It's when the government establishes through the Dodd-Frank Act cherry-picking big banks that have advantages that community banks don't have, creating this illusion too big to fail, and then perpetually bailing out the big banks. That's broken politics. We can change all this. We can change all this at the ballot box by choosing to elect people that are sincere. It used to be, I can remember in my childhood, Everett Dirksen, LBJ, Ronald Reagan, Tip O'Neill, Newt Gingrich, Bill Clinton. Disagreeing was not a problem, but to do it honorably and to negotiate in good faith. We need that in Washington. So we need to elect people that roll up their sleeves and work. Thank you.
I was down at the legislature the other day having lunch in the General Assembly building. I was checking out. Cashier, Representative John Blust, was in line in front of me with a couple of his colleagues, and he looked back and he said, "Causey, why aren't you out campaigning?" I said, "John, some of us have to work for a living." John said, "The problem with you guys, you candidates, there's none of you that have any oomph about you." He said, "People want to see a candidate that has some oomph." And he said, "I am speaking to the Republican women Thursday night, and I'm going to tell them what I'd say if I was running for Congress." And I said, "John, I'm going to try to come listen to that if I can." I didn't make it because I had to go to Rockingham County last night. But Representative Justin Burr was behind him. He looked over and he said, "Mike, whatever he tells you, you do the opposite. You'll be all right." But I told my communications director, B.J. Pierce, she was Howard Coble's law partner, former 6th Congressional District Chair, and sent her the message about John Blust. And she said, "Look, Mike," she said, "you're not a fire and brimstone kind of guy, so don't try to remake your image. You're more of a steady as you go type guy." So steady as you go. I was born and raised here in Guilford County. I still live on the same farm where I grew up. I live in the same house that my great-granddaddy and my granddaddy and my daddy lived in. Grew up, it was a hunting lodge, Remington Arms. Been married to the same woman for 40 years. Our daughter and her husband are professors out at the University of Arkansas. And I grew up in Alamance Presbyterian Church with Howard Coble. His parents lived right behind the cow pasture through us. His daddy got me my first job at Belk Department Store, my first job off the farm. I serve in the Alamance Community Lions Club with Howard Coble, and I've been a long-time member of Westover Church here in Greensboro. My wife and I have been members since the mid-'80s and regularly attend, and I appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. Bill, thank you also for your sacrifice, investment that you make. Ronald Reagan's my hero. He is. Love studying his life. He's the last president that didn't attend a big Ivy school. 30 years ago, in 1984, he won 49 of 50 states. The only state that he lost was Mondale's home state of Minnesota. But we have to ask the question, why? There's a lot of people sitting on this panel that tell you that it sounds very similar, but why? Here's why. He had a skill of bringing people together. Now, I do disagree with some of the things that you've heard in the assets of going to Washington and being an individual. Yes, be principled, be passionate, but you've got to work hard. And here's how you do it. You put people and principles before politics. You care about people in a genuine manner. You look at their heart before you look at everything that they stand for, and that's how you're able to reach people. It doesn't mean that you have to compromise ever. Now, we have an unconventional approach. I'm kind of proud of it. Every single dollar that we raise has been from Grassroots America. No organizations here in Raleigh, Greensboro, Washington, have we taken a single dollar. And I like that because it gives me hope that people are engaging. Senior adults, middle-aged people, a lot of the young people are voting in a primary for the very first time. We're also blessed to have some wonderful people that are supporting us. Howard Coble's family, his brother Ray, his nephew, getting behind our campaign. We're grateful for it and we're excited about it. But we've got some work to do. We've not arrived, and we're going to be out there every day. That's why I stepped in for my ministry on December 31st. My wife's in nurse practitioner school. She's a flight trauma nurse. She's the real hero at the end of the day. But we're working hard, and we'll be honored and privileged if you consider voting us for May the 6th, on May the 6th. May God provide the path, and may we have the courage to follow. Thank you.
Sometimes I'm not sure whether it's a good thing or a bad thing to go last, because a lot of times people are saying, okay, hurry up, I want to get out of here. But when I opened, I told you why I wanted to run. Let me tell you a little bit about my qualifications to run right now. If I'm honored enough to be elected, I can bring with me over 20 years of successful international business relations. I helped run those companies. I know how to create jobs in those companies. And I had to work within a budget. I'm a lawyer. I was a special assistant U.S. attorney. I was a pro tem Superior Court judge. And I was a staff judge advocate with the Air Force. And I was a Russian linguist with several U.S. intelligence communities, including the NSA. So take with a grain of salt anything they say when they're testifying in Congress. I know better. I have prior legislative and foreign relations experience. I've worked with the heads of governments in most European countries, Australia, and the Far East. So I know how they think. I specifically know the Russian culture, the Russian mentality, and I could give you a discourse on Putin and why he is not our friend. Okay? And I'm running out of time. But anyway, I'll leave you with two things. One, Abraham Lincoln said, America can never be destroyed from outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it's because we did it to ourselves internally. We can't do that. We have to send someone who's the best qualified with the experience to understand the intricacies and the details of all these issues. You have to be able to hit the ground running. You can't afford to take 2 and 3 years to learn what you got to do. I ask you to go to my website, Ken Kopp for Congress, and I have all kinds of details and solutions and suggestions on what I will do when I go to Congress. Thank you all for attending, and God bless you.
Let's give a round of applause for our candidates one more time. Thank you. Just a couple of quick housekeeping things. Our candidates, I think, are happy to remain for you if you'd like to meet them and question them individually. We also have a representative from the Jeff Phillips campaign, and that's Kara, and you'll be here with information. Raise your hand so people know where you are. Jeff was unable to be with us tonight. He is also running and had a previous commitment. And lastly, on the evening, there's a big event here in the morning tomorrow, and Marcus has asked for all of us to help clean up before we leave. So if you can help with that in any way, be advised that that will be utilized. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It's a great honor to be with you tonight. My name is Bill Flynn, and have a great evening. Thank you.